And welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, and then just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And welcome to one of my genre lists. In this video, I'm going to be tackling my favorite Killer Kid movies of all time. I'm going to do the top 10 and a couple of, honorable mentions. Everybody has their own criteria, and I'm sure things will be missing that you might like, and some you've never heard of, and that's why it's all individual. If we all watched the same video from the same channel, and the same channel gave you the same list, it wouldn't be that fun, would it? It's fun to see other people's thrills and chills. So yes, this is my top 10 Killer Kid films of all time. And we are going to begin with an honorable mention. And that is The Devil Times 5. Now, The Devil Times 5 was released in 1974. This is a Code Red remaster of it. 1974. It stars Sorrel Brooke, Gene Evans, Taylor Letcher, and Little Leif Garrett. He was a little kid. So, yeah. Is that him right there? I think that's him right there. But, yeah. These are some evil little shits. Now, this movie was originally titled People Toys. And, I don't know. People Toys. I guess that's a neat name. But, at the same time, I think Devil Times 5 is better. So, this is what it was re-released as. Devil Times 5. 1974. Great little Killer Kid movie. Little group of kids, kill a bunch of people. Quite cool. Look it up. See the trailer. It's 1974, yet it is rated R. And, yeah, it's great. I like it. My next honorable mention from 2012, we have a little independent horror movie called Sick Boy. Every babysitter's worst nightmare was also... This movie was kind of really strange. I had to get the European because I couldn't find a domestic release. Look at that little fucker. He was scary as shit. Now, this movie gave me... Okay, not the kind of panic attack where you go and hide in a corner and take a Xanax. But when I first watched this movie, like... I just got like really anxious and really tense. And this particular scene, it caused me to have a panic attack. The kind of panic attack where it's like, look, dude, if you do not stop watching right now, you are going to have a panic attack. So you're like right on the verge of it. And I didn't really understand why. It's not like that scary or anything, but I don't know. There was just something about it. It took me three times. It was the third time that I sat down and tried to watch this that I was able to get through that initial scene that caused me so much distress. And that's where the babysitter goes down into the basement and, was like knocking on its door because, she's being paid a horrific amount of money to watch this kid that's supposedly sick in the basement. Don't go down there. Don't mess with him. If anything happens, his mother is some kind of a geneticist that works at a lab. And, but of course, she's got to go down there. And that scene where she's hearing all this noise and looks under the door and suddenly he appears just scared the absolute shit out of me. I don't know. But it was released in 2012. It stars Sky McCall Bartusiak, who is dead now. This was one of her only movies, and that's very sad. Mark Donato and Debbie Rochon. Now, Tim T. Cunningham directed it. What is also interesting about this movie is I personally, whenever I'm in the mood to watch 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, I actually watch this as a prequel to those two movies. There's just, this storyline is like a prequel. In other words, it's extremely easy to pretend that this is a sequel. She is like in the lab, she's a geneticist, they've created this zombie virus thing. It has spread to her son, it has spread to her husband, whom the whole time the babysitter has no idea that the fucking husband is also a zombie in the house as well. And when that comes to light, and then at the end of the movie, all this bloody murder and mayhem has happened. They take her to the hospital. She's trying to tell them the dead body of her boyfriend that they've got, and she can't even get up out of the wheelchair. And yet they're down there arguing at the end of the hall, and she's up there by the dead body of her boyfriend, and it starts moving and shit, and you're like, what the fuck? And the movie goes off, and then you go right into 28 Days Later, which is a virus that was created in a lab that those animal rights people let go. It's perfect. This literally makes a perfect sequel a perfect prequel to 28 Days Later. It just I remember after I watched it the first time, I was like, God, I can pretty much just segue right into 28 Days Later. I thought that in my head. This movie made me want to watch 28 Days Later because it was like 28 Days Later is almost, you don't have to wonder what happened at the end of this. 28 Days Later happened at the end of this. And that's what was so cool about it. So this is one of those 3-star, 3.5 star at International Movie Database. It's a low budget, and people hate horror anyway on Letterboxd, Rotten Tomatoes, and International Movie Database. So we are a hated bunch. But this movie is very underrated to me. I really, really like this movie. And like I said, one of the things I love about it is because it scared me so bad, it took me 3 times to watch the damn thing. And that's unusual for me. It takes a lot to rattle me, to tell you the truth, as any horror collector with over 2,500 Blu-rays and DVDs, 79% of which is horror. It takes a lot to rattle me, and this fucking movie rattled me in the right way. And I love the fact that I can watch it and segue right into 28 Days Later. That's kind of cool as well. I don't think they did that on purpose. It just, the storyline works out that way. So yeah, that was a lot of talk about an honorable mention, wasn't it? But I think it is very underrated, and I think it, if you can find some way to see it, you should see it. It's a creepy little indie movie, low budget indie movie. There you go. I rated it 8 out of 10 on International Movie Database, so fuck them all. And now we're going to start the top 10 with The Pit. Number 10, top 10 best killer kid movies of all time is The Pit. This is the Kino Lorber remaster of it that I just showed off in my I just did manage to get a hold of it. Very nice, very nice. It was released in 1981. It is rated R, and it stars Sammy Snider's Jeannie Elias and Sonia Smits. Little kid finds a bunch of gremlins or critters, whichever one. Goonies, critters, whatever, in the pit, and he starts disposing of people that, kind of piss him off. I'd really like to find that whole... I have a list I'd like to feed them, but we won't talk about that. Number 10, The Pit. At number 9, coming in at number 9, we have The Prodigy. It's got a decent rating for a horror movie on International Movie Database, 5.9. I really, really like The Prodigy. Unnerving horror it is. He's way too creepy to be dressed up like that. Taylor Schilling, Jackson Robert Scott, and Peter Mooney star in it. It was released in 2019. It is also rated R. Yes. So what? What was it? I'm glad I wrote this shit down. Number 9, The Prodigy. Coming in at number 8, we have Collie McCulkin in The Good Son. This is a Kino Lorber remaster, of course. Did I have the... Yeah, I had the DVD. So this was an upgrade to a remaster. Collie McCulkin, what an evil little shit. He did really, really good in this movie. It was released in Oh, that is the wrong page. Pay attention. Follow along. This was released in 1993. It stars Macaulay Culkin, Elijah Wood, and Wendy Crewson. Yes, it was. So, yes. The Good Son. Little Elijah Wood before he went off and hunted for the rings. Number 8, The Good Son. Number 7, we have Sinister. Now, if that's a spoiler for you, then you really shouldn't be here. Because everybody knows that my channel is a spoiler channel. Sinister, because there might be somebody that hasn't seen this and they're like going, what do you mean? How is this on a Killer Kids movie? Well, you just answered your own question. So, if you didn't know, now you do. I'm still not going to tell you who, what, when, where, and how, but, it kind of cat's out of the bag now. Sinister is a Killer Kid movie. Make of that what you will. So, I also, like I said, I do, some of these are like franchises, but Sinister was released in 2012. It stars Ethan Hawke, Juliet Juliet Rylance, and James Ranson. And yes, it was followed, of course, by its hated, well, not as hated as I thought, but what, Sinister has a 6.8, which is unusually high for a horror movie. And its follow-up was released in 2015, and that's Sinister 2. I did, getting these movies out to do this list, I, of course, realized that it's a DVD, and I'm like, what the fuck? I haven't upgraded it, I, of course, couldn't find the Blu-ray for this. I don't even know if it got one, but I couldn't find it. Sinister, though, I just ordered the Blu-ray for this last night. I didn't know that I had not upgraded it. So, yes, I like Sinister 2 just as much as I like the original Sinister. I think both of them together are phenomenal Killer Kid movies. So they count as one. And that is, like I said, they come in at number 7. At number 6, we have an Omen clone, my favorite Omen clone, called The Calling. Now, I have done a video on this back in my catalog, in my video catalog. This is my favorite Omen clone. That boy is so good. He is such an evil little shit. The differences between the storyline of this and the Omen are enough to make it its own, and I think it was, I love this movie. As a matter of fact, I put an extra copy because, of course, I can't find Blu-ray, so I did put an extra copy of this DVD on my wish list to remind me to buy another copy just to make sure I always have it. I would love to have that as a poster. You know what I mean? I would love to have that as a poster, a big theatrical poster for my wall. Because, yeah, it's cool. This has got some shocking scenes in it. The one where he is tied upside down on an upside down cross and they're crucifying him upside down as part of the ritual. It's just like, what the fuck? Then when he oversees a satanic orgy. And I'm like, he's fucking 10. Well, he's not participating, but he's overseeing it, you know, like all of his minions having a giant orgy. And I'm just like, what the fuck? But yeah, I absolutely love this movie. It was released in the year 2000. Stars Laura Harris, Richard Linton, and Francis McGee. This is my favorite Omen clone. And I love the storyline, and I love the ending. And much unlike the Omens franchise, this movie does not have a happy ending for the world. He actually wins in this movie. And, yeah, so the Antichrist rises. Now, of course, they could have went on and made some sequels, and we would have seen, you know, in the Omen, Damien eventually went down in the final conflict. But in this movie, he is taking over in the way that the Antichrist would take over. And so, yeah. This is The Calling, my favorite Omen clone. It comes in at number 6 of my favorite Killer Kid movies of all time. Next up, coming in at number 5, we have the phenomenal Mikey. I waited so long to get my hands on this. This is an MVD Rewind collection remaster. It came with this really beautiful poster, like all of this series does, or at least all the ones I've gotten have come with these really cool posters, leaving me very frustrated because I can't find picture frames. I want the picture frames to put them in and put them all over the wall. So far I've gotten like 5 or 6 posters from MVD Rewind Classics that I would love to frame and put up. So it's one of the good things about this particular boutique and this series in particular is that they always come with a poster. So yeah, I would love to have them framed and put up on my wall. But this is Mikey. It was released in 1992. Brian Bonsolet, Josie Bissett, and Ashley Lawrence from Hellraiser is in this movie as well. Doesn't she play his teacher? I think she plays his teacher in this movie. Slipcase. They definitely wish They definitely end up wishing they did not get him. This family wishes they did not get him. And some of the kills are like, so what the fuck? So yes, at number 5, we have Mikey. Very glad to have that. Coming in at number 4, we have Breitburn. I love Breitburn so much. I love Breitburn. I'm a total Breitburn fanboy. You know, it's like this movie, I didn't call up its page. Isn't that unfortunate? I called up all the rest of them. Had them waiting, but I didn't do that one. Okay. Breitburn was released in 2019. The only disappointing thing about Breitburn was that it was, it needed to be about another 20 minutes longer. It was such an epic little indie film. He is so evil. I mean, the thought of an evil Superman. I loved the origin story. I am kind of shocked, because this has a 6.1, another unusually high rating for a horror movie on International Movie Database, and topping 6 is a feat for a horror movie. And everybody that I know really, really loved Breitburn. My brother is crazy about it as well, and his wife. Both of my boys were like, they just loved Breitburn. It's a fantastic Killer Kid movie, and he is so damn good in it. He is just evil from the word go. I mean, what he did to that sheriff was just unimaginable. But I loved the kills in this movie. I love the whole concept. It stars Elizabeth Banks, David Denman, and Jackson Dunn. And why they haven't continued the story, I don't know, but I wish that they had. And like I said, it really did need to be about an hour, and it needed about 20 minutes longer, because there was so much fertile ground to continue this. But that's it. That is number 4 of my top 10 favorite Killer Kid movies of all time so far. Coming in at number 3, we have Better Watch Out. Again, if that's a spoiler, that's your fault, not mine. So, Better Watch Out is an absolutely fantastic movie. I did have the DVD. Now I have the Blu-ray as well. So I upgraded it as soon as I could. Better Watch Out. Number 3. Best Killer Kid movie of all time. It was released in 2016. It stars Olivia DeJonge, Levi Miller, and Ed Oxenbould. Levi Miller was like, oh my god, what an evil kid. And the ending had me jumping up from the chair and fist pumping in the air. That's how good the ending was, because I was very thrilled at the ending. If you haven't seen Better Watch Out, you really should. I'm not going to tell you what happens. I'm not that much of a spoiler. Don't you just love the way her knife blade looks real? Because of the way they got it. No, it looks like, yeah, that's cool. So that's number 3, Better Watch Out from 2016. Coming in at number 2 for me in my list, we have 2015's The Boy. Not 2016, the puppet thing, because that wasn't a kid anyway. He was a grown man in the walls of the little mansion thing, and I guess I just spoiled the hell out of that for you too, didn't I? Now, The Boy from 2015 is one of those not very well known It's a little indie movie starring David Morris, Jared Breeze, who is him, and Rainn Wilson. And he is, oh my God, is he. It's sort of like watching, how did Norman Bates become a psycho? It's like, he's like Norman Bates. It even takes place at a motel. He is like a 9-year-old Norman Bates. What was Norman Bates at 9 years old? It was this. He is like totally evil little shit. And the stuff that he gets up to and the things that he does, well, let's just say that's his motel that his dad owns behind him right there. And what's a good way to put it? Let's just say half of the high school graduation class rents out this motel, and, well, you know, look at what happens to it. And where do you think they are all at? Could they all be dead in there? Well, you'll just have to watch it and see. So, 2015, that's a little evil shit right there. What he does to Rainn Wilson is fucking, oh my God. That's just, it's a great movie. It's just a really, really great movie. This is the Scream Factory remaster of it. It's an absolutely fantastic movie. And it comes in so far as my second favorite Killer Kid movie of all time is The Boy from 2015. And coming in at number 1, we have The Omen. And you can just include Damien, Omen 2, and the 2006 remake. I don't care what you think about it. Well, I do, but I don't. You can hate it if you want to, but I fucking love it. So, The Omen was released in 1976. Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, and Harvey Stevens. This is the Omen collection, which has all of them. 1, 2, 3, and the remake. But the original Omen, then we have Damien, Omen 2, which is actually my favorite over the original, is the second one. And it was released in 1978 and stars William Holden, Lee Grant, and Jonathan Scott Taylor. Then, of course, after that, you have the 2006 remake, which was released in, 2006, with Liv Schreiber, Julia Stiles, and Seamus Davy Fitzpatrick. So, I sort of include all of them. Of course, The Final Conflict does not count as a Killer Kid movie, although he does have some kids kill people in that movie. That evil little boy that he, seduces, and it, I guess, is the only way to put it. He's pretty little evil himself, but still, Final Conflict isn't a Killer Kid movie. But the original Omen, the original Omen, and Damien Omen 2, and the 2006 remake, which is also in here, those, of course, are all Killer Kid movies, and those 3 are my number 1. If I have to choose one of those 3, it would be Damien Omen 2. This is the DVD, which I kept, even though I've got the Blu-ray of it right here. But, yes, it's kind of rare to get the DVD. The DVD is kind of rare. So, I need a little frame for that, right? Hanging on the wall. Because it doesn't have a lot of writing on it, so it could be a cool picture. So yes, that is number 1, is The Omen. and Damien Omen 2, and even the 2006 remake. But Omen, the original, and Damien Omen 2, and the 2006 remake, that's my number one killer kid movie of all time. It does have its clone, The Calling, on this list, and so to go back over them, we have The Omen and Damien Omen 2 as number one. We have The Boy as number 2 from 2015. Better Watch Out comes in at number 3. Breitburn is number 4. Mikey is number 5. The Calling is number 6. Sinister 1 and 2 is number 7. The Good Son with Collie McCulkin is number 8. The Prodigy is number 9. And The Pit is number 10 with honorable mentions Sick Boy and Devil Times 5. And that is my top 10 favorite killer kid movies of all time. Please let me know in the comments what yours would be. Have you seen any of these? Have you not seen any of these? Have any of these gave you a tickle and made you want to see them? Let me know, and I will see you in the next thing I do, which is going to be my top 10 vengeance horror of all time. And I will see you in that shortly. Bye-bye. Love you, miss you. Bye-bye. Always remember, never forget, you are a very special person, no matter what anybody says. And I will see you in the next. Bye. Let me know what you think about killer kid genre and what your favorite happens to be. Bye.